The fastest way to lose a good man is becoming his biggest source of stress. He's already fighting the world, work pressure, money, expectations. If home feels like another battlefield, he won't stay long. Men don't leave because someone prettier shows up. They leave when peace disappears. If every conversation is a challenge, every decision is questioned, every moment feels tense, that's not partnership. That's pressure. He doesn't need a competitor. He needs softness where life is hard. Respect where the world doubts him. Loyalty isn't controlled, it's created. So if he's distant, ask yourself, are you his peace or just another problem?
Women, you take zero accountability, and really y'all don't listen to shit, to be quite honest. A man is, if you ask a man what he wants, he will say peace. Immediately, a lot of women will hear the word peace and be triggered. And somehow they heard him say he want a woman he can walk all over top of and ain't gonna say nothing. That's not what that means. I think a lot of times women are more committed to being right and the argument than they are the solution. Men are logical thinkers and we, women, are emotional. All of that emotion is not necessary all of the time. I mean, mouths talking to the men like they children, disrespectful in words and in tone. I mean, what response are you looking for from a man when you come to him like that? Especially somebody you consider your man. Like, what are you looking in return for? I mean, it's the entitlement of a soft landing when you are causing chaos really everywhere because of your emotions. Men are not as emotional. They are logical thinkers. They are solution based majority of the time. They do not respond well to all of that emotion. Sometimes you got to leave a little bit of that shit off. I mean, I've even heard women say, yeah, I'm not doing all that. I mean, I'm not his wife. That's what wives do. Well, how do you think that he's going to ever see a wife in you if you don't show up looking like a wife or acting like a wife? That's how wives get seen. That's how wives get found. Because y'all are, all of this, you don't go and find a husband.
Hey, yo, what up, y'all? Like to thank you all for tuning in to another ice cold discussion, man. For those of you who already been rocking with this channel, man, y'all been tapped in and keeping up, you know, with the updates as I've been uploading, man. Y'all know we've been touching on a lot of trending topics, man, that have to do with modern dating and things of that nature. And my aim, my goal is to bring value to my viewers, you know, because there's a lot of people out there, man, who are going through it, man, going through rough times in the dating market, on a dating scene today, man. You know, it's a lot of games being played, and it's kind of hard to distinguish, you know, the genuine from the conniving, you understand what I'm saying? For the people who just not generous and just unfortunately unavailable, you know. But anyway, I like to thank you all for tuning in, man. You know, like I said, today we're gonna be getting on we're gonna be touching on the topic of a lot of you women. I've been hearing y'all complain lately, man, about, you know, where all the good men at? You know, where's all the good men, right? And every time I hear this question, where's all the good men? I think to myself, these women must be trolling, right? And then again, at the same time, you know, I kind of get it. See, because in the dating market today, it's a mixture of everything. The good people want to act like the bad people, you know, because the bad people have made the good people feel like they're bored. You know, they're not worthy, you know. So it's really, we're really in an unfortunate state in the dating market today, man. But to your question, ladies, where's all the good men? All the good men are in the house. They're in the house. They run a strict program, right? The good men are focusing on things that is gonna, things that are going to bring progress to their life, right? The good men are out here focusing on self-preservation, making sure that they don't end up with the wrong person that is going to likely cause them some trauma and some damage, and a lot of the good men, they run a strict program. They go to work, they go to the gym, they go to the market, they go to Target and Walmart, stores like that to get the necessities that they need, for around the house. And a lot of them, they right back in the house. They're right back in the house. Where they got the food that they need, they got the music, the TV, they got the lounge area, right? And they have their peace. Most importantly, they have their peace. And like I always say, valuing your peace is underrated. Not too many people are valuing their peace the way that they should. And that is why a lot of the good men is avoiding the dating market today, because a lot of these women, they don't intend to bring a man peace.
Ladies, if you have a man that gets up and goes to work every day and provides and contributes to the household, make sure that that man has a peaceful environment to come home to. Our men go through so much in the outside world that we don't know about, and when they come home, they just want to have a place of peace. It's our job to set the tone in our homes, to provide that warmth, to provide that love. Okay, I get it. We all get a little irritated and frustrated with the things that our spouses do, but just remember that you have a man that's actually trying. Okay, motivate him, encourage. Don't nag him and tear him down and emasculate him. Let him know that he's appreciated.
A lot of women today are not looking to bring a man peace. A man's peace in a relationship today with the modern woman, a man's peace comes at the expense of that woman's happiness.
Men, listen up. Bring a chaotic woman peace and she'll get bored every time. It's the same women who say they're tired of being cheated on, they're tired of toxic relationships, and they're tired of men treating them like shit, are the same women that will turn around and shit on the guy that actually brings them all those things they thought they wanted. And that's because they don't actually want those things, because they're addicted to drama and chaos.
Fellas, I'm sick of it. Let me tell y'all something. You cannot make these women happy at all. Because if you don't got a job, she gonna leave you. If you got a job and you work too much, she gonna leave you. If you don't have nothing, she's gonna leave you. If you're trying to build something, she's gonna leave you. Women are only with men because of the convenience, or maybe even the idea of having a man. Okay? Women, they don't want to sacrifice nothing. They don't want no responsibility for nothing. They don't want to go 60-40. They don't want to go 40-60. They don't want to go 50-50. They don't want to do nothing. All they want is the benefit of a king. But they do not want to have the patience and do what it takes to help him build the kingdom. So this is where you need to wake up. You need to realize what type of women that you're dealing with and go get you a woman that believes in your dream.
Understand what I'm saying when I say that. A man's peace in today's market, today's dating market, a man's peace comes at the expense of that woman's happiness. See, because one thing a lot of the good men understand is that most women today, they just want to have fun. They just want to have fun. And life is a lot more than just having fun, right? So when you ladies, ask that question, where are the good men? the good men, they're around. They're just not in the bar, right? They're not at those ratchet events that y'all like to pop out and go to. They don't have time to be mingling with those type of crowds. Understand that. So I want you ladies who really genuinely, and I want to phrase that word, genuinely looking for a good man and just a truthful, charming partner, someone who's going to bring you a great deal of prosperity into your life, and really show up and be the man that you expect him to be. If you are a woman, looking for the things that a well-rounded woman who knows who she is as a woman and know her place. If you are a woman like that, a traditional woman is what they like to call them. If you're a woman like that, then the man for you is likely in the gym, like I said, in the market, right? Just in places that is not surrounded with all the drama. So step number one is to remove yourself from those places that you frequent, because that is why you keep ending up with Pookie and Ray Ray. That is the reason why you continuously end up with the Pookies and Ray Rays, just in a different uniform. Sound familiar? You keep ending up with Pookies and Ray Rays in a different uniform. Same motherfucker in a different uniform. Understand that, man. Understand that, ladies. This is what I want y'all to understand, right? If you are truly looking for a good man, your time is running out. Your time is running out. Even usually I would say your time is running out if you're getting up there in age, you're 35, you're 40 years old, your eggs are starting to, misfire, right? And your clock is, you're approaching that wall, right? Usually I would say those are the women who need to be worried about finding them a good man, because they're approaching that wall, right? But when I think about it, even that is an understatement now. Even that has to be looked at in a different perspective, right? We need to look at the whole, just everything as a whole, right? Usually, like I said, I would refer that argument to those women. But today, with all of this social media and platforms and these different streamers and these different bloggers and the TikTokers and the Instagrammers and just all the degenerate people out here with all the clout. Understand, ladies, even we are to a point where even the younger women who have their whole life ahead of them are in the same position. Y'all are headed to be into the same position as those 35 and 40-year-olds who needs to be very serious about showing yourself to be a respectful woman, someone worthy of being taken serious. I don't care if you're 20 years old, 22, 25 years old, young, early 20s, right? Haven't even experienced life, right? What I want you all to understand, ladies, is that we are in an era where even the young men, even the young men are getting to a point where they are looking at the degenerate behavior of these modern women, and they're reasoning with whether love is even worth it, whether it's even worth it, giving, opening yourself up to a woman in today's world. Because, see, back in the day, we didn't have the internet. All of these things were likely going on, but we didn't have the internet to expose it. So today, a lot of these young men, they're on the internet. They're browsing just like everybody else, right? And they're taking a front seat to all the scenarios, man, to all the different situations that is happening in the world. And they're taking information from every age bracket, right? And they get to see, even though they're 20, 21, 22 years old, they can see the thing that the older men are going through. The men who are 28, 35, 40 years old, who've already, kind of traveled through life a bit, maybe married once or twice, divorced, paying alimony, child support, forced to be in certain situations because they trusted in love, and they believed that a woman can love you for you and love you sincerely, unconditionally, just to find out that is, certainly not the case.
Men love idealistically, women love opportunistically. I understand the fact that as a man, a woman loves you for what you bring to the table. You know what I'm saying? Your money, your income, your status, your confidence, your ambition, your cleverness. There's a whole bunch of different things that women look for in a man before they can actually love and submit and want to be with him. But for men, it's like, men love women idealistic relationships.
Break down what idealistically means.
I mean, obviously, no love is unconditional, but it's the closest to it. Like when a man loves a woman, he loves her far harder than she loves him back, so to speak. This is why women overwhelmingly, initiate divorce and breakups, etc. Why guys have such a tough time getting over it, because when a man loves a woman, he loves her for real.
Today's time, most women don't get married for love anymore. They get married for the leverage and benefits that comes from a man. Women are spiteful, and a woman that don't know how to control her emotions is not to be trusted. Those type of women would tear down a whole empire because of their emotions. Women are the main reason that divorces end up so bad. And that's because when a woman is hurt, broken, or scorned, they become spiteful. Once you marry a woman, she's going to feel that she's entitled to your success. A woman would never admit the role she played and why the relationship failed. A woman will take everything a man has if the court allow her to, out of spite and bitterness. Fellas, women do not love unconditionally. Their love will always come with conditions dependent on their emotions. The moment you're not beneficial to her, you lose purpose in her life. Free game.
See, women love under condition. Not unconditional, but under condition. You have to be able to provide, protect. You have to be able to serve these women, right? And when I say serve these women, I mean you have to be able to serve their desires, not just their needs. Because women today, their view is so distorted that if a woman today is making $25,000 annually, she will still look at a man that makes $50,000 to $75,000 annually as broke. Understand how crazy that is, man. Not only do she look down upon the man that's on her level, she also look down on a man that is making double and triple as much as she makes if he refused to to spoil her with that hard-earned money instead of investing his money for his future and for his family, his future family, and just building the bricks for his future empire. So when a man has his life all figured out and laid out, and he got the map, already written out, and he has the momentum and the know-how and the discipline to do that, it is not really smart to be in the market for love while you are on that journey. Because any woman today that you bring into your life, she is not going to understand your journey. If you are on a journey of, like I said, building an empire, building a great future for yourself, so that whoever you involve and whoever you include into your existence, will also be able to live, a nice luxury, a nice beautiful existence along with you, right? We all could, make a family and just do all the great things that life, that there is to do in life. But man, where is all the good men? And I want to keep bringing us back to that question, because that is the major question, right? That gets asked time and time again. But I want to inform you ladies, like I said, man, y'all have to get out here and do the work on yourself. Y'all have to do the work on yourself and make yourself desirable. Make yourself desirable to the good man, and know what the good man is looking for. Or else, you might land a good man until he figure you out, until he figure out that, you're just draining him, and you have nothing to offer, right? But your body, right? So that's why I say, ladies, do the work on yourself mentally, physically. Get in that gym, eat right, because like they say, you are what you eat. You eat better, you think better, right? Stop filling your mind with this junk, right? With these frivolous social media advice, that's coming from these so-called dating coaches and these popular streamers that y'all like to listen to. Focus on someone who's, actually telling you something that is valuable. And stop tuning into certain channels because it resonates with your pain, your past pain and trauma. The goal is to rid yourself of that trauma going forward, right? And to do that, you need to be focusing on different, different influencers, people who are going to motivate you to be, a more respectful, a more, just, all around well-rounded individual, right? So understand, the good men, they're out here. You walk past them every day. Right? A lot of them don't have that gangster edge that you're looking for. A lot of them don't have their pants halfway off their ass. Understand that. I want y'all to understand, time is running out. Ladies, time is running out. the good men who are left, they are suffering. The good men who are left that y'all repeatedly ask about, these men are suffering and they are on the verge of giving up. So that is why I say, ladies, you need to take this serious, because the good men are giving up. They're giving up. Sooner or later, relationships are going to be a thing of the past. From the way things are going now, marriage is not going to be a thing that is going to be desired for much longer. Now, I'm not going to say that marriage is going to be extinct. No, I'm not saying that. But marriage is slowly but surely becoming more or less desirable, because the games that these women are playing, not all women. I like to always say that because I don't want this to get taken out of context. But so many women have put their journey, in their stories up on the internet and boast and brag about how they married 2, 3, and 4 men and how they've gotten rich off these men and they collect alimony, right? How they lay down and have kids with, men who are financially well off just so that they can latch on and get child support. These women go into these relationships and into these marriages, already leaving. They're already leaving. But a lot of these men are vulnerable, man, to beauty. A lot of these women, they appear so beautiful, it's like a butterfly. And a man who can't control, his lust and his desires, he's going to chase that butterfly. It's colorful, it's beautiful, right? So I want you fellas to understand. I want you fellas to understand that, there are good women out there as well. But understand this, ladies. I just want to say, before we close this thing out and get out of here, man, I just want to say, you have to distance yourself, from the modern ways and the degeneracy behavior of the modern female in today's culture. You have to separate yourself from those women. Separate yourself from those events, those places where certain people, always hanging out at, right? In order for you to grow and to find a good man, someone who's the total opposite from anyone that you've ever met in the past, you are going to have to change your ways. You're going to have to change the places that you frequent. You are going to have to change the friends, your circle. You're going to have to change all of that. Because when you get with a good man, he is going to want his lady, his woman, his wife, to understand structure. And you can't understand structure when you got, your degenerate friends in your ear every time you turn around, right? Calling your phone, trying to drag you out the house, to go to an event where there's nothing but Pookies and Ray Rays. When you got the good man that you prayed for at home, right? But if you are still living in your old ways, you are going to get tired of that man in the home and you're going to take your girlfriends up on the offer, you know, and you're going to run out the house and and go run around the streets like the old you. So just understand this, man. Understand this, ladies. The good men are out here, but it's up to you. It is up to you to get them before they all go bad. Because like I said, the good men are giving up slowly but surely because they're on the internet. They're seeing all of these things that are going on. You know, they're seeing all the game that's being run on good men. And not only is the good men giving up, the Pookies and Ray Rays, a lot of them are giving up. They'd rather just, you know, hit it and keep it moving. They'd rather just hit it and keep it moving, you know? Now, the only thing that's likely going to be left for you ladies, for you women out here, you modern women, are going to be the Pookies and Ray Rays who are homeless. You know, the ones looking for a place to stay, you know, who's looking for a woman with a little bit of money, who's looking for a mama to take care of them, you know, who's looking for somebody who they could put a baby in, you know, and lock them down, move into their house, right? Live off of your hard work, just sweat, right? While they lay around while you at work, drive your car, go sell a little bit of weed, you know, whatever their choice of drug that they sell. This is where a lot of you women is headed. Y'all, a lot of you women are headed down a road where there's going to be nothing left but the homeless that are going to be willing to date y'all. Understand that. So clean up your act, ladies. You know, and this is not to bash y'all. I don't want, like I said, I don't want this to get taken out of context, but a lot of women need to hear this, you know, because it's a very critical, you know, it's very critical. And if you don't clean your act up, you're gonna be stuck. You're gonna be stuck. Trust me. Now, I know you might think you have options and, you know, social media because, you know, it's obvious a woman can post a picture showing a little bit of cleavage or a little bit of, you know, a little bottom of the turkey, a little bottom of the booty cheek, right? And you know, we all know about that, right? The thirst trap. That's going to have a bunch of thirsty, you know, a bunch of thirsty guys in your comments, hard eyes, saying little sweet nothings to you, right? Praising you, right? Hoping they can get a chance or get a response. You know, a lot of these guys slide into your DMs, and a lot of you women get it confused and think that those are real options. These are guys who are interested in actually being with you when you couldn't be no farther from the truth. Right? That couldn't be any farther from the truth. These guys are lusting. And there's a total difference between lust and love. And a lot of you ladies need to understand that, because a lot of y'all turning down a good man that y'all have directly in front of you because you are, you know, the validation that you have on the internet is, you know, damaging you in such a way that you don't even see what's happening to yourself. It is going to leave you behind, right? It is going to leave you behind. And when you finally wake up, you're going to realize that all of that shit was just a delusion. It was nothing but a delusion. When you're somewhere paying your own bills, right? Forced to pay your own bills, forced to take out your own trash, right? Forced to put gas in your own car, hold the door for yourself, right? Cut your own lawn. All of these things that a man should be doing for you. You're going to end up in a position where you're going to be doing all these things on your own because you've been delusional and seeking validation from the internet for so many years. All your good years. All you young women out here, all your good years, you're wasting them right now because you're relying on those options, those fake options that you think you have on the internet, on Instagram, Facebook, right? All these social media platforms. There's going to come a time where you're going to wake up and you're going to realize, I've been duped, right? And by that time, you know, you can only hope and pray that there's a man left who wants to take you serious and not just want to hit it and quit it. Anyway, it's your boy, Mr. Ice Cold, man. I'd like to thank you all for tuning in to yet another Ice Cold discussion, man. You know, if you have yet to smash subscribe, go on over and smash subscribe. Don't forget to hit that bell notification on your way out. And until next time, I'm up out of here.
You get older, one thing I learned, only women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. Women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. A man is only loved under the condition that he provides something. That's right. Women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. A man only loved under the condition that he provides something. That's right. Fellas, when you meet a new girl, what do your friends ask? Ladies, when you meet a new guy, what do your friends ask you? What does he do?
Women, you take zero accountability. And really, y'all don't listen to shit, to be quite honest. A man, if you ask a man what he wants, he will say peace. Immediately, a lot of women will hear the word peace and be triggered. And somehow they heard him say he want a woman he can walk all over top of and ain't gonna say nothing. That's not what that means. I think a lot of times women are more committed to being right and the argument than they are the solution. Men are logical thinkers and we, women, are emotional. All of that emotion is not necessary all of the time. I mean, mouths talking to the men like they children, disrespectful in words and in tone. I mean, what response are you looking for from a man when you come to him like that? It's especially somebody you consider your man. Like, what are you looking in return for? I mean, it's the entitlement of a soft landing when you are causing chaos really everywhere because of your emotions. Men are not as emotional. They are logical thinkers. They are solution based majority of the time. They do not respond well to all of that emotion. Sometimes you got to leave a little bit of that shit off. I mean, I've even heard women say, yeah, I'm not doing all that. I mean, I'm not his wife. That's what wives do. Well, how do you think that he's going to ever see a wife in you if you don't show up looking like a wife or acting like a wife? That's how wives get seen. That's how wives get found.